Hey, what's up, guys? What's going on? This is the Meeting of the Minds podcast. I'm your host, I.M.C. I'm just waiting for the others to come onto the program. As you know, tonight is our final episode entitled The Evolution of Slang. For those of you that have been with us, we started this podcast on September 10th, 2022, and it's just been amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for some of the people to come on. I apologize for the inconvenience, but please stay with us for this amazing episode, all right? And I'll be back in a moment. I see that one viewer. Thank you. Thank you for signing on. We're going to get started in a moment. I'm just waiting for the other members to sign on so that we can begin the discussion. Please be patient with us, all right? Thank you so much. Once again, for those that are watching, I apologize for the inconvenience. I'm still waiting for some of our panelists to sign on. I'm not sure exactly what's going on tonight. I'm waiting for them to sign on so that we can get started with this program. All right, so please stay with us. This is very important. I want to thank everyone for over the last 2.5 years that has watched episodes of the Meeting of the Minds podcast. I really do appreciate it. So please stay with us and be patient. All right, thank you. Trini, what's up, man?
What's going on?
All right, so right now we are actually live. A lot of different stuff going on, but I just want to jump right into the program because people have been waiting now. It's been 6 minutes. Let's start off with the first question. What is slang?
Slang is pretty much like a what's a it's like an abbreviation of words that we don't want to say fully, so we just abbreviate it or throw something on top of it. Same thing with a nickname, honestly.
Mm.
Wait, first question: where is everybody?
Uh, Everybody's signing on. Some people are having technical difficulties signing on, internet, that type of stuff, but
Uh,
they're coming. Don't worry, because I just got a message. Here we go. Okay, I'm just gonna wait till. Yes, here we go. Ray,
Andre.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
brother Umar, the chosen one.
Ha!
All right, so now the same question I asked Trini, I'm gonna ask you. What is slang?
I would say that slang is 1 second. There's an echo. I would say that slang is just a way for people to communicate. In a fashion that's not that people can understand. It's like another language, but it's like different sects of people can understand what you're saying. So it's more like it's not people consider bad English, but I don't think it's bad English. I just think it's a way that people understand each other.
Okay. Now let me ask both of y'all a question. Could abbreviations be considered as a form of slang? Like for example, a word like New York City and you shorten it to NYC. Would that be considered a form of slang? Hold on. Trini, I think your mic is muted. Oh, I think your mic is muted, bro.
My fault. Ask me the question again.
Yeah, now I'm saying, could abbreviations of certain words be considered slang? Like, for example, New York City, you shorten it to NY. Could that be considered a form of slang, or it's just a regular common abbreviation?
Uh, I mean, it depends on where you came from. Some will consider it. I guess you can call that slang as well. Like you got some places in Brooklyn and Queens that they call the towns, which specifically means you're just not from around here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you got, oh yeah, I'm from NY, and then you got, oh, I'm from NYC. They're typically both the same. However, oh my God, this guy's been jumping the bike
It-
all day. Christ, okay. Anyway, get off my screen. Back up. But even though they're shut up, even though they're both technically the same spot, you got folks who are originally from, born and raised and homegrown in NYC. Be like, oh yeah, I'm from NYC. I'm from such and such place, and then oh my God, I want to go to NY. I don't know. It's different. I don't know. People have their own type of slangs. As much as I would like to think it started with New York first, unfortunately, it did not. You got folks from down south, Mississippi, Memphis, who got their own type of. They don't even call it slang. What they call it is twang. And if you ever heard somebody from down south talk, you'll understand why. You ever heard somebody from down south talk?
Yeah, it's New Orleans.
Especially
There's
New
a
Orleans.
yeah, there's a word that they have, um, and I think I heard it on a Juvenile record. Whoa, day, and I don't know what that means, but Lil Romeo used to say it too.
Woody.
It's spelled, I think,
WOAD.
WOODIE, but it
Nah,
sounds so dope.
WOADIE.
What's good, Wody?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because
Matter of
I've
fact, I
heard
know
it.
I heard it. I heard it on Juvenile's High. That's where I first heard it from. Back when I used to watch flavor videos.
What's good, Wody? As far as I'm concerned, it's like another way of saying what's good, Brody.
Mm.
Stop.
Yeah, word.
No.
It's kind of like, Chicago when they be like, "Yo, shorty, what you want?" Like, it's more like just another way of like saying like, "What's up?" Like like that New Orleans thing. Like, I kind of looked into it for a little bit because I remember like listening to the Hot Boys, PG, Wayne, and all them. Like that was like their thing. But even speaking on that though, like I was listening to the Carter 2 a couple days ago, and like I
Could you
realized
not
that
run on
like
the grass, please?
I realized that like
Not a
Lil Wayne
highway.
has some New York influence. Like if you hear like how he spoke on certain records, like I compared it to like the Dipset. I was like, yo, that kind of tracks because like he wasn't saying certain like how New Yorker like how we speak up here, like you could tell like we from New York. It's just no question. And then, like you
Right.
guys said, when you see somebody from down south, like even the Midwest, like, all right, you from out there or from like Cali or whatever. So I think like slang overall is just like a way of speaking, but like it all kind of like comes together. Cause like you remember back in the day when people used to say like, "Oh, it's lit" or "you're lit," it meant like you ugly. Now it means like yo, you popping, like you that person.
What? Hold on. Wait. Back up. Back up. What did you
I
say?
thought lit was always, huh?
I thought it meant fire. Like
Nah, like back
the lit
like
also means drunk though, or in a
yeah,
way.
but yeah, but like the terminology kind of changed. Cause like I remember when people used to say like, "Oh, that girl's lit," like it meant like she was ugly. That was like early, like mid 2010s, and then it kind of like changed to something different. I was just like, "Yo, that kind of like the way how language kind of changed." Like even when we used to say like, "Oh, that's dope," and then people stopped saying it, and then they brought it back again. It's like,
Mm.
yo, like the language kind of like recycles itself. And like even right now, like people call people like, YN or YB, right?
Yeah.
It meant
I hate
something
that.
different. It meant something different back then. But now it's like, oh, you got YNs running outside right now, or YBs running
I,
outside right now. Like
I
that's
hate
something
that,
like
and I hate
like the
I thought YN was young niggas.
no,
that's
it was, but I'm saying like back then it meant something else, or there was something else that replaced that.
mm.
I see. I see.
I remember 304s is the new terminology that I've been hearing for the longest time.
Oh,
And it's
304
supposed
has
to
been a
be
long. It's been there forever. 304. That's
The
straight co business.
calculators,
That's
yeah,
like if you speak to your regular average pimp, they'll tell you
yeah,
304.
for three or
That's
four,
been
yeah,
in the business for a very long
pretty
time.
long time, yeah.
It's since the
but I'm a,
70s.
but I'm gonna tell you something, right? When I first heard the word thought, right? I started hearing that around
Hate that.
2015, 2016. But I was listening to a rap record called Five Men and a Mic by rapper Special Ed. And one of the five rappers that was on the song um dropping bodies like thotties. And I was like, wait a minute. In 80 in 90 they were saying this? And you know what I mean? And I don't know if you can find anything in hip hop where that word was used in a song. But this is like 1990. The same
Yeah,
thing
you
with the
can.
word bling. Before Lil Wayne said it, the first rapper to say it was producer Third Eye, aka Jesse West. And that was on the
Mm.
Dolly My Baby remix. But here's the thing, Wayne gets the credit because it was more prominent. But we're talking about 93. This is like a good 4 or 5 years before everybody starts hearing Wayne. But it's just amazing how one person can say this terminology and everybody's just like, oh, okay, that's nothing. Then another person using it and it's like, yo, what's bling bling? Even though somebody else had already said it in the game, in the genre.
That's crazy.
But even speaking on
Yeah.
like the whole like Dottie thing, right? I heard that from Chief Keef in like 2012 because he had a
Yeah.
song called "Love No Dotties," and so
Mm.
that word to me came from Chicago because I used to watch like a lot of like hood vlogs and like a lot of like hood stuff.
Documentaries.
So they used to say that back then, and then I remember when I heard like French Montana start saying it, I was like, yo, I see how, you know, language kind of like crosses boundaries or crosses states or whatever. So
Right.
It does make sense
Right.
because I remember back in the day. I'm not sure if y'all remember this. When somebody used to say, "Yo, I'm smacked," it went like you smacked. That definitely meant you ugly. And it went
Wow.
from "Oh my God, you ugly" to "I done smoked like how many L's to I'm smacked." It changes. It varies, but that's crazy.
You remember the word frost? Like
Frost.
FROSS frost, meaning like, yo, I'm done. Like, and I think it meant like drunk or whatever. Either that or high. It's one of those two. But I think it meant like you're in a state of inebriation or your mind
Yeah, I
is.
created my own ones. I had suited. I had fluted. To the moon. I'm in the upper room, Mars, whatever the case. All kinds of
not
code
the upper
words.
room.
Oh
You
yeah.
don't want to say that.
We gotta go to the next question. Hold on,
Good.
hold on. All right, so it says, how are slang words determined? Anybody want to take that on?
Honestly, in this day and age, because of the system, as far as white people say, slang is just terms and or terminologies that black people use because we're not educated enough, which is pretty wild to me. But that's typically what I think, honestly. I mean, I can't even say that because every nation, every country, everywhere has their own terminology for everything. And I mean everything. But as far as these white people be saying, especially because I peep, yeah, people who don't have grammar, they use slang like mom and them instead of mom and them. And you and your father them or I don't know. Like for real though, or for real though, you got mama going crazy. Babe, you good? Okay.
She sounded country almost for a minute. So it almost sounded like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's that
Like,
Midwest. She
yeah, yeah.
yeah, like crazy example. Like I normally say, yo, come on. As opposed to when she says come on, she'd be like, come on. It's weird. The pronunciation of things is weird.
Yeah. I think once you move into a certain place, you start to adopt the language of that area. As a matter of fact,
Hell no.
not
Nope.
the language, the dialect. The
Not
dialect, I mean.
not at all.
Why?
I'm sorry. I will never. Ohio's cool, and I've been here for years. But bro, I will never like. Okay, for instance, in New York, yo, what's good, B? Yo, what's good, my son, or whatever the case. Everything you hear here is, come on, bro. It's either bro or bruh or breh. There is no in between. When they get mad, yo, bruh, what's good, bruh? Like, what's good? Where my money at, bruh? And then when the females when they piss off, yo, brat, it's weird. No, never, 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 not never. In fact, the majority of the slang that you hear today, it came from NYC. It came from us. A
Mm.
lot of like dead ass and F is you talking about all of that. People are using our stuff. We need
Right.
to copyright it for real. It ought to be a fee.
You know what? I like exactly what you said about the whole language thing and things becoming integrated. Because even if you watch some shows like based in Baltimore, or you check out some Canadian slang, it's like the way that Baltimore talks is like
Baltimore.
it be cracking me up. Like I don't watch episodes of The Wire, but I be seeing scenes and it's like the slang is like even when you hear Snoop talk, is like, what's his name went away for something you did for him, and now he locked up behind. Like it's crazy. Even the way they pronounce certain curse words, they leave the K off the end of it, and I'm just like, it was a movie with what's his Meek Mill, right? With a bunch of kids on some motorcycles or whatever. So I heard the vernacular, but yo, the vernacular and slang of kids from Toronto. Oh my goodness! Like I swear, I feel like sometimes they be trying to be like New York. Like it's really I can't say it's bad, but it's like I don't understand. Like I feel like it's a combination of British and Jamaica because I can't make it out. Like, bro, are you speaking English or you not? You know what I mean? Like, especially when you go on Instagram and a lot of these young kids, I'm like, yo, what type of language are you speaking? Like, I know Canada has this thing where, hey, welcome to Canada, eh? But it's the kids, it's the slang. They say New York slang is bad. Canadian slang, especially Ontario, is worse. If you've heard the slang that the kids speak, it's like, bro, I can't even understand you. Matter of fact, let me not even call it bad. It's different. Like, but I can't switch. I just can't. You know what I mean?
The forest is
But
with the
Ray.
wild nice, isn't it? It's weird. It's weird.
Nah, even speaking of like Toronto slang, it's like a mix of like American and like Jamaican slang.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the way to explain it. Yes.
Just like British slang, because like sometimes I feel like everybody try to be like New Yorkers, but then they trying to like downplay us. Because like
Bro, let's not talk to me.
they'll say something like, "Oh, yo, I'm dead ass serious." I'm just like, "Yo, dead ass is one word." But then again, hold up. But then again though, like I can't take certain things away because like New Yorkers sometimes we try to be like we from Atlanta because like we'll say things like no cap, right? I know I say it. Or like that's my twin, you know. That's like we will say like that's my twin, but I hear people say, "Yo, that's my twin." Like, "Yo, what's up, twin?" Like we take stuff from down south too, so we can't like take that away either.
But wait, Joe. Wait, look. But hold on. Joe and Pun was saying that for like a minute before anybody else was saying the word twin. Like, you go check out some old records. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Pun and Joe was saying twin for like a good
That's a fact.
2 years before
That's
he
a
passed away.
fact.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
now
and I
everybody
agree.
uses twin because of that Money Long song, right? Hello, twin. I'm like, come on.
Nah, it's from like little. No, it's from like Young Thug. Yeah, Young Thug and Lil
Really?
Baby. Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
So it's just even just like the West Coast, right? They have their own slang too. Even how they say right, it's not like oh that's right. It's like no, that's right. Like whoa,
Right.
okay. So
Hmm.
You look at some old school movies, it really does shine through, especially with like Snoop and Q. But Snoop is heavy on it. You know what I mean? Whether you're from like Long Beach, it depends on what part of I guess Cali you from. But it's a unique vernacular. Even DJ Quick, like everybody has their own way that they talk. Sugar Free, he's another one. And it's like the dialect is not hard to understand, but um I remember there was a song that the Dog Pound did, and at the beginning of it, they was like, "Yo, what up, God? What's up, God?" And this is like 1996,
Yo, I remember
like
he
the
was.
East
I
Coast
ain't gonna
West
cap.
Coast
I'll tell
beef.
you, he was God.
Peace, God. Like, and that was from the I think the Five Percenters, right? If I remember correctly. But but yeah, that was the video where they was like knocking down the buildings in New York City or whatever, and then what was it? Nori, Tragedy, Gaddafi, and Mob Deep, they made a diss record called LA in response to it. But it's interesting to see the way that slang has elevated, especially in New York culture. You
Well,
know what I mean?
actually, if I may interject, I've said
Yes.
this before, but I'm gonna reiterate it. Our dialect typically is not our own. We just added a little bit of flavor in it. The majority of the New York and Jersey, that's all Italian. Point
Mm,
blank, period. Because remember, back in the days, the mobs, they all ran New York, and then they
right.
formed some big alliance with um, Irish NYPD affiliates and fraternities and whatnot. But
Right.
um, if I can say just one cuss word in this little ordeal. So if you look at the average Italian and they're pissed off, they're going back and forth, and somebody happens to be looking at them wrong. Hey, what the fuck you looking at, you fucking mook? As opposed to
Yeah.
now you got your black people out here. He's like, "Fuck is you
Yeah,
looking at? Yo, fuck is you talking about? Fucking move the fuck
right,
out of here." Type, you know what I mean? So, especially
right,
type ish. Sorry, I
right.
wasn't trying to use all that, but I'm just giving a
I
slight
know.
example here.
No,
But
I
yeah,
get what you mean.
yeah, the majority of our dialect, it's all Italian. It's just you just threw some nigga in there. That's all. To be completely
Yeah.
honest, I get it all the time. I'll go to work and I'll go to a gas station and try to fill up, and I'll say, "Yo, let me get such and such on pump 97." Like, "Yo, where you from?" I'm like, "I'm from New York." "Oh, you from New York? I can tell by the way y'all say York, like YALK. Yeah, I don't say New York. I go New York, and they try to say it so bad that it sounds ridiculous. Ridiculous, ridiculous, and
No,
it
Oh,
even
seems
oh god.
and it seems as if you're from the Caribbean, I don't know why people seem to think that Jamaica is literally the only one that's out there. I'd be like, "Yo, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. Oh, is that like Jamaica or something?" And you're just like, "No, it's not. It's separate island." You try to give them that the whole history, and they get lost. They're just puzzled. And until you just like, no, never mind. It's all good. But yeah, I'm from over here, not Jamaica. So we don't say wagwan all the time, and we don't just smoke weed. We don't do that.
I say bumbleclot all the time. Like
Oh, and they say it so wrong.
I know, right?
They were like bomba clat. No, 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 no. I don't know why they always start with the cuss words, but that's annoying. But suffice to say, yeah, that's where our dialect comes from. I can't really say much about the Midwest. I know a few people from down south. They kind of migrated up here and they started a little thing with how they speak. But yeah, I want to say the only place that literally has like their own founded ordeal would be down south. Anybody from Mississippi, Memphis, um, Texas, anybody from down there, from what I heard, that is the closest kind of language that's closer to the ancestors, as far as I know. Louisiana, they got that southern twang, but you'll get lost going down there. They speak at 78 miles an hour, and I think Cedric the Entertainer did a bit on this. So whoever the person was speaking and talking or whatever, they thinking he's saying one thing, and bro was completely saying another. So here, this dude thinking everybody calls him Bominicious. "Hey, yo, Bominicious!" And people laughing around him was like, "What's that? Why y'all laughing at me for?" He's like, "What you call this man?" He said, "Bominicious." Everybody around here call him Bominicious. He's like, "No, no, no, hey dog, no." He said his name CJ, and that all of it just sounds weird. It's all weird.
mm.
It's weird, but yeah, I couldn't even tell the joke as good as Cedric did. But if you watch the bit, you'll get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've seen it. It's like the dudes that speak patois, and then you got Super Saiyan patois, where yeah,
Wait,
well, I'm
what?
gonna yeah, no, let me explain what I mean by that. You know how you have your traditional patois, like yeah, well, go on, my brother, there. And then after that, it just turns into something different. The dude that was speaking the dialect before, he's just like I think it's Gallus in Paris. He did a skit, and then the person is just speaking, and he's looking like because yeah. And here's the thing: I got a friend of mine. You probably know the dude too. I think he was from your church, and dude spoke like he spoke patois, but his thing was like elevated to a different level.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. Like when y'all
Yeah.
go into the store and then y'all tell him for come and then him come and I'm like, wait, huh? Huh? What? It's equivalent to going to Jamaica and hearing Jamaican Spanish. Make it make sense. Oh
Yo, Ray,
man.
you got something to say, man?
Nah, I was just gonna piggyback on what Trini was saying because like even when I used to live out in the Midwest for a little bit, um, they used to be like, "Yo, where you from?" I'm like, "I'm from New York." "What's up?" And they be like, what you mean what's up? Like I'm just telling you where I'm from. And like I had people say like, oh, New Yorkers, we always cocky because when I went to Atlanta a couple years ago, like people could tell I'm from New York and I didn't even have to say nothing. And so like I guess it's because of like that New York like confidence that happens that comes with it. But like yeah, like even like Ohio to me they were slow. They were not fast paced. They were slow. And and even like with the whole Jamaica thing, right? Like I understand 100% what you're saying because like I work with a bunch of Jamaicans. They'll say Wagwan, and then they'll be like, oh, whatever, whatever, whatever. Especially when a girl is coming through. Oh, look at that big body, yeah, and just like I'm just like, okay, I hear I understand it. So you have to like, I think for us because we're so used to it, and because we've grown up in that environment, it's like nothing. But to other people on the outside, it's like, oh, what are they saying? I don't understand. And it's the same thing with like people from down south, right? Like I may not understand what they're saying, but their peoples and their family members and all of them, they understand what they're saying. So to encompass the whole question, I think slang it's just really how people relate to one another, honestly. Like it could be fast slang, it could be slow slang, it could be like somewhere in between. But like as long as there's like a definition behind it and if you want to use it, like for example, like certain groups of people, like they'll downplay the slang, right? They'll be like, "Oh, this is uneducated talk or whatever." But then when you get around them and they try to use, they'll try to use it to almost try to like relate to you. And it's like, nah, keep that same energy. Stand on business. Like, don't try to like downplay people's, way of speaking to each other, and then try to use it to relate to each other. So no,
True.
no.
Yeah, I believe that. Now let's go to the third question. Who created slang? Is there a creator of these words that we use in code?
I would say slavery.
Mm,
So if you can imagine, you're speaking in your own native tongue. A bunch of people who've got ammunition, weapons that supersede yours 100%. Then you get taken via ship to wherever spot, and now you're forced to listen and speak what they call English and whatever language that they are. If you're African, do you know how much harder it is to learn English? Much less Irish or anything else for that matter is going to sound weird. So you have to speak it in a kind of way where your folks understand exactly what you're trying to say. Like this is like the average Spanish person. They use what they call Spanglish. You could be Spanish all you want to. Your mom, dad, they could be Spanish. However, you know a little bit of both. You know more prominent English than you do Spanish. So you'll be like, "Hola, cómo estás?" And I'm going down the road. It switches up. But yeah, I wouldn't say slavery. Same thing with why they had braids in the hair. They literally were etching exit routes, and escape plans on people's heads. So with that being said, I would say that before slang became just casual, I would like to say it's probably words that were used for technical code. Like, okay, once I get to this corner, I'm gonna say this, and then that gives you the signal to go ahead and do whatever the plan is. That's what I personally think. And then the evolution of people's languages, it became a thing. That's just what I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I was gonna say that like it started with slavery, with the slave trade, and with Harriet Tubman, and
Hmm.
after that, it kind of like derived. I guess when people went to their own different parts of the country or parts of the world, and they had their own way of living or way of speaking, just like even now, right? Like you have Trinidadians, you have Asians, you have Jamaicans, you have Haitians, Guyanese. Everyone could say the same word or same types of words, but it'll sound completely different. and that's because they understand it one way and we may understand it another way. Same thing with New Yorkers. Like we may say certain things like, "Yo, meet me at Broadway and 125th," right? We
Mm.
understand what that means. Somebody else might be like, "Oh, Broadway? Do you mean the show?" No.
Mm-mm.
So that's why, like, that's why, like, I think like once it started, 'cause I think like every ethnic group has their own slang. I think ours is just more superior than everybody else's because everyone takes from us and doesn't give back.
That's a fact. Like, one more example. Hey, yo, at like 4 o'clock, we gonna meet at Collie Block. Now, if you from Queens, you know where Collie Block is. That's what,
Of
103rd,
course.
going toward the bus terminal. For those who used to travel on Jamaica Avenue. So yeah,
Sixth Street. Yeah.
people have their words and whatever the case. Or well, Food Fest was actually called Food Fest, but people had their own dialect of where to meet up at, where to go eat, where the chill spot is at. Meet me at the crib. Same thing with the crib. Like it's all the same.
Yeah, just like in the 2000s where people be like, "Yo," when they hung up the phone, they ain't say bye. They're like, "Yo, I won." Like we understood what that meant.
From early 2000, that's all I remember, fourth to fifth grade. And my brother used to say that all the time. You know what I mean? That let me tell you something. That right there is a precious memory because 2000, 2001 is it was nothing like that type of vernacular. You know what I mean? Like, yo, one. And that's it. You ain't gotta say nothing else. You just go about your day. But somebody gotta bring that back because that word was beautiful. Just that's what we gotta say and we out.
I one simply meant one love. You just didn't have to say the love part. You just said I
Hmm.
one.
Exactly. Some
Ah,
people had Audi 5000, but that just seems too much.
nah.
Yo, Audi 5000.
That just took me. Sheesh. That's Jamaica church days when everybody was still there. That word is from before I got earrings and I was condemned by the church. Lord, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That, that's crazy. What else we got on the menu? Which just means what's next on the list. See how that worked?
My fault. All right. See, that was slang right there. What are some slang words that you used growing up?
Hmm. Wow.
Damn. OD. That was another one. That was one of them.
I still use
OD.
OD for real.
Um, I still say mad. Like, yo, this
Mad crazy.
mad
Yes.
crazy. Now they say everything, yo, that's wild, that's crazy. Like, yo, that's insane. What else?
I like you wildin'. Wildin' is still a thing. I just don't like how they spelled it. I don't like how people are saying it today because they say it like how it's spelled. Like instead of yo,
Mm.
you wildin', they
Wilding.
be like, yo, you're wilding.
Wilding.
What about rocket jaw?
Rock your jaw, rip your
Yo.
face, I'ma snug you. Like, don't get snuffed out here,
I'm
son.
gonna snuff
Stop playing
you.
with me.
Oh, yo.
Oh
Oh
man.
Yo,
man.
word is
Fighting
bond, word of my
terminologies, yes,
mother.
sir.
What else? Um, what do you used to say?
I don't even know. We used to say no homo, now everybody say no diddy. That happened out of nowhere.
Yeah. We got Cameron to blame for no homo movement.
For
He
shizzle,
started
we
it.
actually took that from Snoop Dogg. That's the only thing, but I
Yeah.
used to say it for real. For sure.
I still say for sure.
But now
Um,
you got other people that say for shit show.
What?
I don't know
Yeah,
that
Yeah,
one.
for
that's
shit
I
show.
don't know
That's
that
what they
one.
say. You bugged out, you bugging, you tweaking.
That's Chicago. What
Make it
else?
sound better. I'm sorry.
Swear to God. Mm,
I used to say swear to God a lot, and now I don't really say it like that no more. I have to check myself because I'm like, I can't just keep using swear to God. And mind you, God has nothing to do with it. And he's like, what you swearing on me for? Like, I don't want to do that no more.
what else? Word to mommy.
I still use word of my mother, for real. That's never gonna go away. Word of my mother. Word to.
Yo, where to? Now they say, what are my dads?
Or the famous
Nah.
one, and I can't say this one. Let's just call the abbreviation SMD. So that's
Hey, that's
Yo,
just the
that
New
was
York
like,
way. You hear me?
if
those
we
are
going
fighting
that way,
words.
just say FOH.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I saw a video where a dude said that to another guy on the train. And he was like, "Ah, yo, go ahead, pull it out," and then he snuffed him.
Well deserved.
Whoa, whoa.
And this is an old head he was messing with. And they was like, "Yo, isn't that your train? Like, yo, go catch your train. All right, stop hitting him. He's good. He's down." But
All right. All right.
A good one, yo.
This
You
one on
good?
phone.
You good? Or you good? You can say you good in so many different like
So many
variations.
ways. You good? You be like, yo, you good? You at a funeral? Yo, you all right? You good?
You good?
And then somebody's staring at you, just like, you good?
You good? Like
yeah, that might get on somebody's nerves, but it's all love at the end of the day. A lot of these slang words, man, it's so funny. You know what's crazy? Every Disney Channel show that I've seen, like with a black cast, for some reason they don't use slang. I don't know why. Actually, no, we
Here's the
know
reason
why.
why.
We know, we know why. It's not like the Wayne's Brothers or the Parenthood. It's not like it's like Fox or one of those other networks. But you
It's
know the
literally
Disney now.
it's literally why it's equivalent to why the Seventh Day Adventist Church will not allow shouting.
Mm. You know what's
You're not a
crazy?
dog. Stop trying to bark. What are you doing?
They won't allow slang, but they'll do movies like Let It Shine and like, yeah, let's get these dudes rapping and put them in these clothes. And I'm like, that's the first time I've ever seen a rap movie on Disney Channel.
Well, you have to understand something. They have to paint a picture. We are the literally the only race of people who are literally hated all across the globe. You can go to China, Beijing, Japan, no matter where you go. There's a whole group of people who just don't like us because of how we sound, how we look, and the depiction of how we act in terms of too many black people in one setting is going to end into a fight. They even
Right.
passed laws on this. Like there could be three or more black people in one setting. If there was, a white person had to be present, which would signify to everybody else, hey, it's safe over here.
Mm.
Yeah, they have to do that. So, like, what's good, my G? What's going on? Disney Channel, this is wild. Hey, ho. We coming to the office. Sit down, sit down, sit down. We don't do that here.
Yeah.
It's like,
They gonna
what do
make
you
you
do?
sing Circle of Life.
Try reading the
I just
script.
I just
Then
thought of a
read it
slang
like,
like we used back in the day. Yo, let me holler at you real quick.
let me holler at you real quick. Literally meant you about to get a fine tune up.
Mm-hmm.
Or you about to get a stern warning.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you see something, like even with my kids, that sometimes I do use that. We in Walmart or wherever we at, and they acting out. And I'm like, yo, let me holler at you real quick. And you just like gently grab them, and you just like, listen, stop playing with me. Act right in this head store before I give you a fine tune up. Simple. And they just looking at you, just stop playing with
Yeah,
the
like
door. If you're
even
either in or you're out.
like even like back in the day when you used to see a girl or whatever, you like, yo, she bad. Or a couple years ago, like she's a baddie. Now is she fine? Shit, I don't know what that means. Like
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that one. It's like, yo, or I hate when people do like, yeah, yo, type what? Or when they say like, yo, it's valid. Valid what? Give me an explanation, please. Come on, I get it, but it's like when I ask like, yo, is the verse good? Yeah, it's valid.
I
Nah,
tell
tell me
my
what you
women, I'm
like
like,
about it.
listen, I will.
where that
Yeah, I think it's
We're just not gonna do that. We don't twerk in random public places. We don't do none of that. We don't wear bubble skirt. We're not doing that. So it is what it's gonna be. I still say
Mm.
facts, by the way. Facts, that's just stamped in stone.
Oh, of course.
I don't think that's ever going away.
Nah, not at all.
You know what's crazy? It's like I didn't know white people use facts now. I seen them on social media. Yeah, they use facts now.
Oh my God, facts. No, ma'am.
you,
Y'all were better
you know
off stick with the phonics. You straight.
You know, it's a good one.
what?
Word.
Oh, of course. That's been man. That's every decade, 80s, 90s. You know what I mean?
I know, but like, you know, we used to say like word too, like yo, word, like word, like that. That's it. That just, or better yet, bet. Bet could mean anything.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like oh. All right, bet. I got you.
Hmm.
I
But
bet I got you, which
that's it.
I understand. As opposed to, I bet. Say less.
Say less.
You know it's not slang, but really sometimes feels like it is when people say like, yo, don't worry about it. It's all good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's all
You know what that
good.
means? Sugar, like, oh yeah, nah, don't worry about it. Nah, we good, we good,
I'm
we good.
honest,
All right,
cool.
yeah, no.
Say no more.
All right, let's go on to question 5. What is the difference between slang back in the day versus now? We can go back 20 years, we can go back 30 years.
I mean,
So,
let's call a spade a spade. Is anybody today ever going to use jive turkey again?
Jive turkey.
I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying. I think it sounds a little bit more cooler. Um, it's definitely more modern for real, but I think there are times where things can get overused. Um, and context is definitely important. You're not a dog. Quit
Wait,
trying to
hold up.
bark.
20 years is 2005.
He's
Yeah,
got this.
20 years is 2005 and 30 is 95.
yeah.
Yikes! I
And
just
let me tell you
realized
something.
my birthday
We
about to be
had
in like
some
two
good
weeks.
slang.
Get up there.
I think 90s slang, I don't want to say it was better, but I think it was in more ways more digestible than the slang that ended up happening 30 years later. Because you look at slang now, and there are just certain new words that are introduced, and I'm like, why do we need this? It's like when I hear a new style of rap, and I'm looking at that on the radar joint, and I'm like, yo, these cats are not even up to par. Like, yo, that's another thing. Nobody says, yo, these cats. No one says that no more, right? That was like a late 90s, mid 90s thing.
If I say I don't use that now, I'll be lying. Cause I've been trying to stop saying the word nigga for a long time. So I try to switch it up, be like, yo, get that cat out of here. You know what I mean? It's not the same. It's not the same. It don't hit the same.
Yo, you want to know something funny? My friend just asked me, she was like 90s was 30 years ago, and then she said, what is jive turkey? Yo, it's it's crazy because let me tell you something. We all like Ray. I know you. What year you born, Ray?
92.
All right, so I lived through 90. I lived through 95 and 96. So you probably too young to remember the late 90s, but at least 96, 97. I've seen slang. I remember Busta Rhymes when he was at his apex, and all these different rappers like. And slang was the big thing. This is back when it was Planet Groove on BET, and they had all of these different shows. Nowadays, it's like I'm not saying people are afraid to speak slang in their music. It's a little bit more modified, but back then it was like, yo, we just speaking whatever we want. It's like in the '70s they used to call the police the pup, the fuzz or the pigs. You know what I mean? No one does that anymore. Well, no, some people might use the pigs. Um, People will still say 5-0, and 5-0 I think is a term from the '70s. There's another term, coppers, which
Hmm.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody use.
Unless you're a
Or
child.
blue and whites,
I thought they're going
or red and
12.
white.
Mega Whites, he got 12s, pigs, 5-0, one time,
One time.
Jakes. Was that all the
Yeah,
ones we had for them? The alpha, not the alphabet boys. The boys in blue.
the D's, the D's, like the feds.
Yes, yes, yes. The D's running my crib, nowhere to be found. People that hustle for. Nah, let me stop. I'm about to go into the whole verse.
Bro was about to go
Nah, but
dumb.
even like even adding to Gabriel's point, right? Like, you know how like we used to say like, "Yo, these are my brothers" or whatever, right? Now they be like, "Yo, this is my heart." I just be like, "Ah, it's too much."
Nah, that
Or
something
like,
sound wrong with that.
I don't like it. It's that's
That's
I
like,
actually
that's
a gang term.
oh, like when Young Thug used my lovers, my
my
babes.
bae. Yeah,
Like I don't call no man my lovers. Like
No,
or my heart. Now we don't do that around here.
that's more of a blood term. And same thing with the fuzz. Fuzz in the
Wow.
'70s was referring to a cop. Now fuzz means you blood. Like yo, fuzz, you who? Basically saying yo, you blood too? Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Wow.
damn, I never
Old
heard that
habits
one
die
before.
hard. Sorry.
Nah. Mm. There was a terminology, and I don't want to say it because I don't want to get in
What
trouble in any
buzzing?
way. Nah, nah. SUWOO. Let's just say that. And you know that's been yeah. You know
Oh,
that you know how that I used to hear dudes in school say that or whatever, just walk around say it or whatever. You know what I mean? After a
Yo,
while, I kind of faded. Matter of fact, my
they used
next
to
door neighbor, his little sister, she used to be saying, I was like, yo, shh, don't say that right.
they used to run down on
Stop.
people saying that randomly.
you
Don't
gotta be
say that. Don't
careful.
say that. Yeah. Or when people use the word like blood and cuz, you have to really be careful who you're around because you don't know who you could be triggering. It's the same thing with wearing the color, but a certain type of terminology or language, or even speaking with your hands, can be misconstrued
Yeah, that's like what's popping
as
and what's cracking.
exactly. You know, I'll give you an example. I was at a skating rink like back in like fall of 2024, and not a skating rink, no, a bowling alley. And one of the dudes drunk, like I guess our time had run up while we were sitting, and these new people just came in, and I'm sitting there, and one of the dudes is like, "Yo, we got a problem." I'm like, no, he's like, "All right, good." And I could tell he was drunk, and I just walked
Yeah, I'm
away.
trying to solve it. What are you talking about? Sorry. Old habits die hard.
But yeah, like in that moment, I felt angry, but it's like, yo, is it really worth me going and say something to this dude? Like, yo, who you talking to? No, it's not. I'm not gonna lose my life. And here's the thing: when people are drunk, they are drunk. Like, and the thing is, I looked at the place for the reviews later on. People getting tossed out of there for fighting, bodyguards throwing people out. It's the only bowling alley that I know in Jamaica where
Get
you
back
got to
here.
show your ID to get in. That's
Hmm.
how bad it is. But
Mercy. You're right about that though.
yeah, yeah, we're gonna skip question 6 because question 6 and 4 are the same question. Question 6 is, what are some slang words that you still use? And I guess we already answered that. But we gonna move on. Ray, did you want to say something before we moved on?
Nah, we good.
Okay, all right.
See, I just told you. Yeah,
I like how you
Yeah, you
use that.
straight. You
I
straight.
like how you use that right there. Beautiful example. All right, so let's go to question 7. Do slang words have expiration dates?
Mm.
that's a good question. I don't think so, but I think maybe no, they don't, because they
You
always
don't.
come back around, right? They may come around in the it's like music, right? Certain songs may play for a certain time frame, but then they'll come back around maybe in like a sample or something. Like
Mm,
all these artists, like they use samples of like the 2000s and 90s, etc. So it always comes back around, but just in a different format.
I agree. It's literally like what it's all recycled. It's just sampled in a different way, if that makes any sense. There's always going to be that YN or young person who may like that. Hey, yo, that's dope. I ain't gonna cap. I still use that's dope. It depends on the situation. I mean, yeah, that's dope. That's a dope idea. Let's go for it. But yeah, oh my,
Yeah, yo, anytime I see this dude's face, you, man, it keeps it real.
I, yo, have children. They said it'll be fun. They said. Let me tell you something. This is way off topic. You
Oh
really
man.
have to have a sound mind when you have children, because there's gonna come a time where the diapers are
Facts.
changed, they're they're fed, everything is cool, they got a shower, and they just won't stop crying. You got the teething and all that. There's gonna be a moment, Ray. I'm gonna be praying for you, bro. But I'm here, dog. I'm here. It's gonna be that time where the wife ain't gonna be there, and it's like, yo, this child is just not gonna stop, and you gotta find the strength within yourself to get through it. It's just me talking smack, but it's true. This is true. All right, that's my mini rant about children.
All right, so hold on. All right, so you guys put your input, right? All right, so
Yeah.
for me, I'll say something. I don't think that slang words haven't. Well, let me be careful with how I say this. Slang words, to some extent, do have an expiration date, but we may find ourselves using it within modern language at certain points.
Hmm.
You know, whether you're talking with somebody from the past that you've known for like 30 years, or you might be going through some form of history where you need to review it. Like, I'll give you an example, right? The Gullah Geechee dialect is beautiful inside and out, and that's one dialect that is never going out of style, because constantly people still use it. They may what you call it?
Slang is timeless, man.
They they may update what they say, right? But
Yeah.
like, for example, there was this professor, I forgot his name, but he is an expert on Gullah Geechee. He grew up speaking it, and he was talking about there's a difference between the words axe and ask, and people were always saying one was appropriate and the other one was inappropriate. But here's the thing: it's like the words ketchup and catsup. It depends on what you grew up with, or where the dialect was from. Now, me personally, I prefer ketchup. But if you come from another place where you say catsup, it's like, okay, different strokes of different folks. But you know, in
I
in, in terms of the Gullah Geechee culture, I believe that had to do with slavery. Even I want to say the Jamaican dialect patois. I want to say it was formed from slavery also. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that they had to speak in a coded language so that people wouldn't understand what they were talking about. I think I read that somewhere one day. But
I believe it's timeless. Now that I'm thinking about it, just thinking over the years, bro, it's really timeless. And I say it just because we're getting older and things of that nature. So certain words we don't use no more because people are adapting with the times. But for me, I believe slang and slang terminology can sometimes be used as a warm memory, because this entire pod using old words and things of that nature, it places you in a place where, dang, I remember I was in high school when we was using that.
mm,
Man, I remember going to church and I heard that for the first time. Or I remember how I felt when I used this and I was confident. So I
right.
believe it's timeless in a way, and there's always going to be that one or two or three rappers who may make that dope original NYC song and still use whatever phrase. Like, there's an old phrase that I don't even think nobody uses no more. Hey, bro, you picking up what I'm putting down? Which simply
Mm.
means, are you receiving the information that I'm trying to give to you? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, for me, I think it's timeless. I think it's For those who have used it throughout their teenage lives or even when they were younger than a teen, it's for us. It's for us, for everybody. And listen, in this day and age, not everybody's going to use what we use. I mean, facts and I dead ass or whatever the case. Words like that will forever be timeless and will ever be used. But it's like an old vinyl record. Sometimes you just know. Matter of fact, let's take it to gospel. Sometimes you just know that gospel song based off of that first piano chord or keyboard chord that you hear. You see what
Right.
I'm saying? So I believe it's timeless and it belongs to us for our generation. Dead ass facts, you wilding out, all of that, bro. That's us. It's ours. It belongs to us. It belongs to the people of that era. So us being, I don't care if we're 80, we are still a part of that era. So as long as we're using it, there's always going to be somebody who's 80 right along with us and will understand exactly what we're saying
Right.
until that time where we exit stage left off of this earth. And people behind us will be using it as well. So I believe it's timeless. It's just not as prominent, which makes it vintage. And that's the best part about it. To create a
Right.
word that gets extended, it's like a legacy. People don't even know where dead ass and yo, you crazy, and even the year, they don't know where that came from. But all of New York uses it. When people go and perform at the Garden or wherever they perform at in New York, they have to, yo, you got to come correct. Hey, yo, New York, yeah. And everybody got to respond, yeah. Like, it's just how we are. So I believe it's timeless and it's a relic. It's for us, man. It's for us.
Yeah, I believe you're right. You know what? I was while you were talking, I kept on thinking about the training you had to go through, right? For your job and um the pepper spray and when you spoke in patois, I was like, yo, there's
Yo,
just
it
some
hurt.
words that never go out of style. I'm still dying from that video.
I forgot I told y'all that Maze video. I'm like, motherfucker, man. Listen,
Yo,
that stuff eats through the first layer of your eye. You feel it. I had no choice. It was either I cussed and said, "Oh shit," and have a bunch of church people. I thought they cleared up your mouth already. You're still cussing, or I could just say bumper flat. And for those who know, they understand.
right.
Hello, Pickney. Bring
Yeah.
yourself up here. It's so weird.
All right.
One
So
house.
now, all right. So hold on. Let's go on to the next question. Um, when is it appropriate to use slang?
Huh. It depends because you can use it during a sermon. You can use it during an intellectual briefing. Hell, if you're the president, I've done heard Obama use slang plenty of times. Even Donald Trump and his orange head self, he's used slang multiple times. It's appropriate depending on how you're using it. Like you trying to let somebody know in a nutshell, listen, I'm not the one to play with. I'm dead ass. Quit it.
Mm,
It's just
that's right.
certain words that hit. Like, yo, you tripping, catch yourself before you get wrecked. Relax. It's it doesn't have to be used as a threatening whatever, but that's what you get. But to be honest, you can use it, especially for the modern world. If you're trying to explain the Bible, and with these young people, it's just not connecting. You can throw a little bit of modern in there. Like, for instance, people know God is at war with the devil. If you're gonna
Mm,
simplify that for the average gangster on the street, all right, look, got two dudes, and they literally arguing over power. His throne, his throne. Pick a side. This person, he over here, like God is like, yo, I'm dead ass. At the end of all this, I'm gonna kill you. And the devil's like, all right, keep that same energy because I'm right. You can use that. Listen, unless you want to become a part of this door, stop using it. Get inside, both of you. Touch this door again. I promise you, it's going to be an issue.
All right, so we just had to mute for a minute, y'all.
See,
All right, go ahead, Drew.
perfect example. That was a perfect learning moment right there. And I just
Right.
displayed that you can use it literally in anything, as long as you're trying to convey, as long as the other person is trying to understand what you're trying to convey. You can use it at any time, any moment. Hell, you can use that at a funeral as the eulogy. You can use it anytime, anywhere. Just not your job interview. Tell you that.
Right.
Depending on the job you're trying to get. But other than that, you could throw a little thing in there.
Mhm. Yeah, that's
My
true.
bad,
That's
Ray. I'm
true.
chatting. Go ahead, bro.
Nah, I was just gonna piggyback off of that. Really just with your peoples, honestly. Like if you're trying to relate to whoever you're talking to at the moment, um, I would say like maybe certain aspects, not just a job, but like with like maybe older people that you respect, I would probably not try to use slang around them because they may not understand what you're trying to convey. Because like no cap, I hate when older folk try to use slang on me because it don't sound right. And it's like you trying to like I understand that I may look young, but like don't try to like be like, yo, what's up, my guy? And no, don't do that to me. Nah, we not finna we not finna because sometimes they be trying. I'm just like, what are you trying to say? Like, no, that's not
You need to
appropriate.
leave.
So yeah, when you with your peoples, I understand that. Like when you're around like certain members of family, when you're trying to convey a message that other people can relate, absolutely. But certain settings, like a job setting or like an older folk person, because I'm an old head now. Like I call myself an old head, and I'm okay with that.
Chill, Ray. You
So
wilding right now, bro.
nah,
You
nah,
in
nah,
unk status right now. That's it. That's the
nah. I'm
spot.
an old head. Listen. I'm an old head. I'm an
Somebody called
older
me that
head.
at the job a few months ago, and I was offended
Why?
because of my
I
great
feel
my
you
beard.
though.
Nah, I love it. I got
And
little
dude,
homies call me Unc and all that. I love it.
I think I understand why us men get so offended, or just people in general get so offended. The thought, I think people really enjoy the fact that they can look young for as long as possible, but then reality quickly sets in because, we were just there just 10 years ago, 15 years ago. We wouldn't consider ourselves as old heads. We in the crowd, we in there, we outside. And then suddenly you got these little kids who don't know you from a hole in the wall. Hey, yo, Unc, let me holler at you for a minute. He was like, what the hell you just say to me? And it just, listen, reality, sometimes it hurts because we all going to reach 40. We're all going to reach 50. At some point, we're going to hit that mark where, the so-called check engine knee light's going to come on at some point. You ain't going to be able to dance and move how you used to, and you don't have the energy to chase your kids around the house. You just don't have the energy for none of it. And so I guess we get offended because it's like we don't want to grow older. It's like we want to grow old without the title attached to it. But we actually should take it in stride
I take that
because,
dream in
for
stride.
one, not to listen. In the past 4.5, 5 years, we have literally lost giants. We have lost so many people, whether it's gun violence, COVID, whatever sickness, people have been dropping like flies. It's even gotten to the celebrities. So for us
mm,
to actually reach a point in our lives where we're able to be called Unc and Pops or Dad or whatever the case of a grown person's stature, we should really accept it as a term of endearment. It sucks, but at the end of the day, to God be the glory, bro. We made it. There's some things where I promise you, dog, I should not be alive for multiple reasons. I should have got shot instead of getting pistol whipped in my old apartment building on South Road. And like so much, I could have died for something over a bike. But bro, take it all in stride. We made it, y'all. We made it. Now it's up to us to demonstrate and teach these youngins, for those who are willing to learn. Hey, don't do that, Doc. Let's do it the right way. Start off with this. So yeah, I'm gonna accept it eventually. But for right now, I'm only 33, about to be 34 in like 2 weeks.
Mm.
Bro, if you try to unk me and walk past me smooth, bro, I'm gonna grab you by the back of your shirt and be like, yo, watch your mouth. I'm not an unk until I hit at least 38.
Nah, see,
30,
he different from me,
38, I'm
man.
gonna accept the unk.
He different from me, man. I embrace it. I got youngins calling me unc, asking me for advice and whatnot. I be like, yo, I feel like my dad now. Like I feel like I'm the like the big bro that people come to now. Like I embrace it
I
because
like
like
that. I like that.
I embrace it now. Cause I'm like, yo, like I could share my mistakes. I could share my wins. I could share my goals. My losses, all that, and
Mm.
have people, you know, not only just respect me in that manner, but like be like, all right, so I see where you went wrong. I'm not gonna do that. You know, and I embrace it also because it could be a different way for people coming up to see us millennial men or women, whoever's watching rather, um how we can do things differently than how we came up, you know? Because like coming up, we didn't have people that we could talk to like this, right? We didn't have people who we could like relate to on certain subjects. We had to kind of like figure it out on our own, whether it be through church, through school, through the internet. Well, we were the first internet generation, I should say.
That's a fact.
Um, but yeah, like I embrace it, man. Like I'm not I'm not scared of nobody calling me Unc, OG, all that. Like I look forward to those days where, you know, people call me those things and whatever else terminology may come afterwards. So
Ray, I'm trying to get like you when I grow up. You hear me?
This guy, man. All right, so now let's
Proud
go
of
to
y'all. I'm proud of
question.
us. Shoot.
Yeah, we all making, we all doing our thing. Let me get to question 9. Can slang words be misinterpreted wrong?
Absolutely.
I think we answered that.
We, yeah, we actually did in terms of
You good? You
Anthony,
straight?
right?
Yeah,
You all right?
yeah,
You sure? All right, cool.
yeah, we did.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you an example. Other day, matter of fact, 2 weeks ago I was at work. So I'm walking in, getting ready to start my shift. There's this dude, he's collecting carts, right? He works in a lot or whatever. So I just do like this, like so he can move to the side. He gets upset. He's like, "Yo, you all right?" Like, yeah. But here's the thing. I went to the bathroom, then I went, got myself ready. But if I had said like, "Yeah, I'm fine," are you fine? Had I brought that same exact energy, it would have been a different thing. Because it's like you have to watch how you say things. Talking about you good. Here's the thing. I was always good. I've been good. All I ask is for you to move to the side, and you caught an attitude. You got in your feelings. I guess because I did this as a signal. But even this could be misconstrued as like, yo, that's kind of rude. But it's like if I'm walking here and I see you walking mad close to me, about to like, it's like move over to the side. It's like driving, right? You gotta pull over sometimes. Like you down a long winding road, you gotta pull over. You can't just continue to go and y'all gonna be this close. That's gonna cause a car accident. Wait, let the other car pass, and then you go and you do your thing. But some people don't think sometimes, and it's like, nah, I'm gonna go in. Next thing you know, y'all gotta exchange insurance. It's the
Hmm.
same thing with words. Like, had I been a different type of person or whatever, you know, it would have turned into something negative. But the thing is that I have the power to walk away and not stay and deal with that nonsense. And I was just like, all right, so maybe he took it the wrong way. Maybe I could have just verbally said, like, listen, can you move to the side? I could have said that, you know. But when he said, you good? I took that as, does that mean fisticuffs? Does that mean fighting? What are you saying?
Fisticuffs
Because
is
you have to be
crazy.
mindful of what you're speaking. And I'm not that type of guy. I don't fight anything like that. You know what I mean? I believe you can talk out something. Let's talk. Let's clear it up. But you know, I just felt it was weird because normally this is not somebody I normally talk to at work like that. But he came with that energy that particular day, and I just looked at him a little bit strange. Like, don't do that to me. Out of all people, Come on, man. That's just weird. Don't even do that. But
When Gabe gets mad, bro, I done seen you get mad a couple of times. You get angry. You get angry.
nah, let me tell you, yo, when the bus is late, I was wilding last week,
Shout out to the bus
screaming at the
drivers,
top of
though.
my lungs. And it's like I did all that screaming, I knocked all the wind out of me. And I'm like, yo, there's no reason for people at 10 something at night to hear me blaring like a speaker. Like, you gotta be careful and know where you're at. And it's not only knowing where you're at, but also the language that you speak is very important too. You know, sometimes like you could say things in a you could say something directly. You can either say it in a good way or a bad way. You could be like, "Oh, excuse me, can you help me lift this up?" Or, "Oh, can you excuse me, can you get out this way? You're about to mess up my shot. Thank you." Or you can be like, "Yo, can you move, please? Can you move? Can you move?"
Who was you
That's
talking to?
considered rude. Yeah. Some people be like, "Yo, all right, like, yo, what's your problem?" And that can lead to situations where it does not need to go. The same thing with certain words. People will stay. Let me say something. People will say stuff on social media and think that they're justified in saying it. And next thing you know, a situation occurs where someone shows up at their house and they beat the mess out of them. Someone goes and finds your address. They knock on your door and then they go and drag you out and they stomp you out. And then they leave and then you screaming, "Oh, I just been hit." Well, had you not been doing all of this,
Mm-hmm. Well, that yapping.
you would have not gotten to that situation. It's like we gotta be careful. And listen, I understand everybody has a temper, everybody has crazy personalities. You gotta watch who you're talking to. If you don't regularly talk to someone in this particular manner, or you guys are not on that level where y'all understand each other, or y'all playing around, or y'all brothers and sisters, and you can deal with them like that, that's one thing. But if you're not in that type of thing, you talk to them like you're just talking to someone regular, they're gonna look at you and think you're disrespecting them.
Hey, I got to
You
land
got
back
to be
off of that
careful.
because you're absolutely
Hmm?
right. I have to piggyback off of what you just said because let me tell you something. Now that I'm in law enforcement, bro, when I tell you the stuff that we see for something that could have been so easily de-escalated, we are now dispatched because this person said something wrong and the other person took it wrong. Like, you don't know who just got out of jail yesterday. You don't know
Mm,
who just had a fight with their wife for the past week. You don't know what's going on. All we know is we got dispatch. Here we go. All we know is we got dispatched here for a noise disturbance, or it could be something minor, like some kind of dispute between man and a woman, whatever the case. And something pops up. It could be something my dick. It could be not even that. It could be, yo, you tripping right now. And then somebody gets offended. What the hell you mean I'm tripping, bro? You tripping. Like, listen, words, they do mean a lot. And we're in a world now where everybody is so offended about something. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody doesn't agree. And because this person don't agree with you, that makes you PUSSY. It's retarded now. So yeah, we see stuff like this every single day, and it always ends up leading to, yeah, like he said, somebody getting beat up, dragged out their house, or worst case scenario, that person got beat up. Now they feel the need to call their big bro or to call this person, not somebody coming with a switch to blow your whole house up. Mind you, the initial target ain't even get hit, but somebody's child did. So
correct.
you really got to be careful. Like, listen, it's really not that serious. Don't wear 300, $400 pair of sneakers in the club when you know they finna get stepped on. Don't place yourself in an atmosphere where you know your girl got a big behind, but you gon' we gonna step out, and now, dang, she got fat ass, she got this, and she got that, and now she looking
Mm,
at you like, you gonna let him say that? And now you
mm.
gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Got to
You
be
don't know if
careful.
homie, you don't know if homie got the Glock on him or whatever. Like,
Facts
dude
and
may say something about your girl, then your girl's like, "Yo, you're not gonna say something." Next thing you know, he goes and he gets his head blown off.
that's it.
Can't get like when you hear the words like, "Yo, you're not gonna do nothing." Those are fighting words. Unless your man is equipped and knows how to disarm a situation, don't put them in that category. Go and leave, because sometimes I'm gonna say this, and ladies, I know you're gonna get offended, but I gotta say it. Y'all gotta stop running your mouth in these high pressure situations. You are gonna cause your man to be hurt because you did not walk away. You know, even getting into an argument with a man, that's a big no no. Learn how to walk away.
Can I give you a stat?
Because go ahead, brother, and then I
I'm
want to
sorry,
hear
but
Ray.
now that I'm in this life, it's like I can't help it. Right? I'm not trying to cut you off, nobody off, but the majority of a lot of these, especially the young men dying nowadays, is because women get offended, and now it's just like she can't deal with the fact that she just got put in a place or got spoken to in some kind of way. So 9 out of 10 times, the woman's gonna call somebody who normally gets this. Because understand something, you got two people, they fighting and arguing back and forth. Now they're going through it all winter long. Spring, summertime, they about that action. Oh, I remember what you
Mm,
said. I'll be right there. Stay over there. Nah, stay right there. We get dispatched, homicide, murder, bro.
mm,
Women, I love y'all. I love y'all to death. But self control is a real thing. Discernment is a real thing. Because you're offended, you don't always have to say something. You don't always have to have the last say. Sometimes, in order for you to grow, you have to let it just fall off your shoulders. Yes, sir. Good job. 5. All right. So, yeah, man, ladies, I love y'all. I love y'all. But part of growing up is learning how to deal with disagreements and how to deal with the opinions of others. Not everybody's gonna like you. You don't have to be liked. Not everyone's gonna like your outfit. You don't forget you bought that outfit for you, not for everybody else. You, your man, or whoever you're with. But learn to let stuff go. I think a lot of these women, not all of y'all, some of y'all, are so used to being raised in a single parent home, especially with the father's not there, that there's no father to really check and be like, yo, babe, calm down. We ain't got to do that. How about let's not and say we didn't? But they're raised with the mom, and because they see mom always getting her way with calling the police, even if the allegations are false, talking back and talking reckless. So now all the little girl sees is, mama seems to be getting her way when she talks to this person like that, when she talks to dad like that, when she talks to anybody. Now they grow up and they emulate the same behavior. And it's far worse. It's far worse. Cause now these girls, they're talking like men. How y'all are still in NYC. Y'all hear how these girls are talking? You got girls telling men to SMD and yo, what you gonna do about it, nigga? Like, yo, who are you talking to? But the moment you
mm, mm, mm,
but
mm.
the moment you get clapped up and slapped the one time, oh my god, I'm a female. Why would you do that? Why would you say that? I'm not saying it's justified, but we have got to stop walking around here like there aren't consequences for actions. For every action, there's an equal reaction. You don't need to say nothing because you're putting your man in harm's way. You decided you want to call the police as a prank on your man because he wouldn't give you your purse back after he done bought it, but you done did something to piss him off. I'm taking it back. Now you want to you're fake crying, calling the police. They show up, 8 cars deep, and they all got their guns out. Now your man dead. For what? For what? Because that just happened last week. That really just happened last week. I didn't know y'all was gonna do that. I didn't want him to die. I just wanted y'all to rough him up. Are you serious? Are you kidding me? Bro was 27,
27.
college graduate from
Jesus.
Ohio State University, dead.
Oh my God.
Because this girl decided she wanted to get him roughed up. She didn't know he was gonna get killed. Come on, man. Ladies, if you want us men to do better, I'm not saying, oh my God, if we're gonna do better, y'all gotta do better too. But in order to bring back the community that y'all are complaining about not having anymore, it's got to start with y'all. Because at some point, you're going to be 60 and 70 years of age, and you're going to be the big mama of the porch or of that block. And, you got to be able to give wisdom. You can't be twerking and talking back all your life. It just can't be. You gotta be worth more. You have to be worth more. And if you know you're worth more, emulate that, demonstrate that, be that for the next generation. It's not all about you. It's not. We can't grow together as a community when you're too busy separating us because you can't seem to get out your feelings. Come on, man. Let's get it together. Let's come together like butt cheeks and beat the shit. You weren't supposed to hear that. Get to it.
What, yo?
Bro, he's so
Nah,
light,
that's
but he moves
wild,
so
boy.
fast. You can't. All right, look, I
That's
ain't gonna cap.
wild.
I do have to leave because I promised baby girl I was gonna take her out. I stayed for as long as I could. I gotta get dressed and so we can head out. But I love y'all. I truly hope this ain't the last pod because I'm gonna miss y'all because this we don't
I'm
have each other's numbers to where we gotta call each other like that. But yo,
I'm
every time I
reconsidering,
see
man.
y'all's face, it just feels good to know that my bros are still out there. We still alive. We still out here kicking it and whatnot. So I love y'all to death. Y'all will forever be my bros. Hit me up. I'm here, but I gotta go. Gotta go.
All right, love you,
Later,
man.
bro.
Love you too, man.
Peace and blessings.
Yes,
Appreciate you.
sir.
Peace
Always.
All
and
right.
love. One.
Yes, yes.
Ah.
All right. So now we're gonna move on with the next question.
Yeah, let's make it the last one.
All right. Okay. Did we answer this question? Is there a difference in slang by location? I feel like we
Yeah, we
did, right?
did.
We
We
covered that.
basically pretty much answered everything, honestly.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, overall, like slang, like I was saying earlier, it's just an expression. It's just how like you talk with your peoples, like they understand you, you understand them. And it was even like what Chini was saying earlier, like every part of the world has its own slang. But I think ours as Black people, because we're so diverse and like we come from different parts of the world, it's amazing to see how one word can mean different things in different places. Um, but to have like my final thoughts about the conversation overall, I think slang is a good thing to have because it distinguishes, you know, who you are and other people are and how they could relate to each other. And
Yeah.
I think that slang will forever, you know, well, different words will always change, but there's certain words that will always like remain solid. You can never find a replacement word for it. Um, I think slang also helps with like when it comes to like sports, like hip hop, like you know, when people say, "Oh, and one," you know, that means such and such. Or like when it comes to hip hop, they'll be like, "Oh, you know, we was outside," like you know what outside means. So I think like slang, it's just freedom of expression, honestly. And I think, and I love that we have different slangs, and you know, you can learn from different parts of the country. Like, oh, I could use this in this sentence and means that. So it's almost like learning English.
That's true. That's true. I mean, when I think of African American vernacular English, and I didn't even know that was a thing until 2020. During that year of COVID, you had a lot of black creators that were very prominent and very popular and had it was almost as if I was looking at MTV or looking at a documentary because everything was so detailed. And you know, the funny thing is, when it comes to slang, right, there's also black scent that comes with it. Now, although there's no such thing as talking black, one would think because this particular vernacular developed within um, a black neighborhood that it's someone trying to talk black when it is rather a person that is speaking slang and vernacular. But the problem is that, to be honest with you, there are some folks who do try to emulate what they see on the screen or what they see in the neighborhood. Now, if you're a person that grew up in Manhattan, you could be Asian, you could be white, right? And let's say all you grew up around was black culture. You're going to act that way. Someone's going to think like, yo, why are you putting on a black scent? And they're going to be like, no, this is how I grew up. We got to understand, right? And I'll give you another example. You go to Texas, or certain parts of the South, there are Chinese people. People think that Chinese folks just move from China and they have a heavy accent. No, you have some that are descendants of those that migrated from China, and they just happen to be the generation that grew up in the South. They grew up in Texas. They grew up in New Orleans. So that is their home. You have a lot of ignorant people out here that believe because someone comes from a certain part or region of the world that they couldn't speak in a particular dialect. You go to Atlanta, you're going to find a lot of Asians. It doesn't matter anywhere in the world where you're at, right? Another thing that caught me off guard, I didn't realize that there were a lot of Chinese people in Cuba. And as a matter of fact, there's a Cuban um, salsa group, and as I'm growing more and I'm understanding about language, dialect, color, and culture, you find that at the end of the day, everyone pretty much uses the same or similar slang. It may not be exactly our kind of slang, but there are some similarities in it. You know, you got Baltimore, New York, Toronto. Everybody has some different, even Floridians. And Floridians, they sound like Southerners. They probably sound closest maybe to the people that uh, grew up in Rosewood, Florida. You listen to Trick Daddy or Trina or even Kaya, and it's like they have that distinct accent. You would have thought that they were from somewhere out in Texas, but you have these individuals where their family members migrated from the South, brought that dialect with them in their culture, and it became implanted in that culture. So it's not only just one person, now it's everybody that is speaking a similar or same dialect. And I don't even know what the slang is in certain parts of Florida or just Florida in general. But what I do know is that their style of hip hop music, Miami bass, it was a real thing. It's still a real thing. You got some other part of the world where there's a form of hip hop music called hyphy. I don't think it exists anymore. I don't know where it came from. It's from some part in the U.S., right? But Florida was known for that Miami bass for a minute. And then you got the style of music and the dialect that comes from New Orleans. And Manny Fresh, he perfected the sound. He got it down to a science where everybody was like, yo, this is not New York. This is not Chicago. This is not Florida. This is not Wisconsin. This is New Orleans. So now everybody knows this is not your typical beat. Before, New Orleans hip hop artists, they would use New York based samples from, you know, songs that New York artists would use. And it would just sound like, okay, feels like New York hip hop, but it's not really. It has a southern twang to it. But we recognize it because we recognize the James Brown break beats and all these different things. But yeah, slang is a beautiful thing when it's used the right way. But some people like to weaponize slang and be like, oh, well, you can't talk like this on a job interview. I get it, but what if you happen to encounter somebody on the job and the only way that you can relate to them is either through learning their language or speaking slang? And I'm not saying that slang is a requirement on any job, right? People will be required, like, for example, if you speak Spanish, if you speak Mandarin, Russian, right? And those are different native tongues that are sometimes used in the work world, in the workforce, sorry, in order to converse with people that do not have a grip on the language. Now we got Google Translate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still waiting for them to make patois available on Google Translate or even Trinidadian. And the reason why I say that is, although it's considered a form of, I guess, broken English, right? I feel like it's something that should still be involved because you have people that if someone's accent is real hard, they don't understand. I feel like it should be added, even though it's not another language, but just the slang that's used, just like the same way now they have a patois Bible. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, nobody needs it, but When you hear somebody said, "Yes, Father God," like, you know what I mean. But that's my 2 cents on that. But what are your thoughts? And then we're gonna wrap up.
Um, nah, I mean, it piggybacks to the earlier points that we all made that like there are different parts of the country that have its own slang and they all kind of like come together and um form like a bigger vocabulary, honestly. Like you mentioned, the Florida accent, you mentioned the Florida sound, New Orleans, just like up here, New Yorkers, like that old school feeling that we had, like listening to like Jay-Z, Jim Jones, Biggie, Dipset, the Locks, all of them. And then you go to like Philly, you got Swiss Beats, Cassidy,
Right.
Meek Mill, who ARAB, all these guys, Beans, like there's all of that kind of creates something bigger that people can relate to 100%. So
Right.
I believe that like slang not only creates like a cultural shift, but it also creates a cultural word, a way of living, a cultural view of how things are in different parts of the country. So that's my final thoughts.
Right. I hear you. I hear you. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining us for this discussion, the evolution of slang. Um, and I've taken the time to think this over because this podcast, um, it's been really influential, and I don't know anymore if I actually want to end things. You know, we've worked so hard in these episodes, so I'll let you guys know coming back next month. You know what I mean? But like I said, I appreciate everybody from the start, even the ones that are not here anymore, but that initially started with us. But I just got to give a shout out to my brother Ray, to Carlins, Caroline, Christine, and Trini. And I got to give thanks to Dia too, because even though you guys have not seen her, she's also worked behind the scenes. I remember when we first started, we were all talking, we all had ideas, and just throwing around stuff, just having conversations about things that we could talk about for the podcast. But if you guys are watching this right now, if there's a topic that you would like us to talk about, let me know. Hit me up, and I will let you know if we're coming back next month. Because, like I said, I'm reconsidering it. Because I'm not ready to go just yet. But I will let y'all know. Once again, thank you guys for joining us. Y'all take care and have a good night. Peace.
Peace.